Hi, Shelly here. I have been wanting a 16 by 20 inch gel plate for a long time, but I just couldn't justify spending the $200 on the name brand ones. But I happened to find this one by GelElf on Amazon and thought I'd give it a try. It's half the cost of the other ones, still expensive, but I finally decided now is the time. So I'm going to put my plate out here. I'll tell you about the differences between this and the expensive brands. There are some differences. It's a little bit thinner. And the thing that bothers me the most is you can see how it I'm using ink here, but it kind of just separates. See how it separates the longer that I let it sit and don't activate it. But it does that a little bit less with paint. But I wanted to try some alcohol ink on my plate today. And so I'm giving that a go first. Although it's not preferred, I do get some really cool pulls from it separating it the way it does. So it's not all bad. Anyways, I'm just dropping a little bit of extra alcohol on my plate. And then I'll start taking some pulls, and you'll see sometimes I dry it, sometimes I don't. I'll just go back and forth and try different things to see. I have something in my head that I'm trying an effect that I'm trying to get, and I never do get it. But I do have a blast, and I wind up with a lot of really cool papers that I'll wind up using in this week's project. I'm staying with a very specific palette most of the day. I throw in a couple other things, but mostly I'm staying in with this because the project I want to do is kind of a navy blue and green. So I'm not going crazy with color today. This was over a 2-day period that I gel printed, so I won't show you all of my pulls, and some of them are very similar to other ones where I'm just trying to get this different effects with the same colors. So I will show you some of them that I think that are important and interesting, and then I'll cut out a bunch so I can get on to my project. Now watch the plate as I'm looking for something off to the side here, what I'm going to use next. Look at it separate on the plate. Again, kind of a cool effect, but not what I'm going for most of the time. Mixing some black and cobalt right on my plate to get my navy. I was in Hobby Lobby last weekend and I thought, you know, I'm going to check out the fabric section and see if they have any cool lace that I could use. I'm looking for bigger things that I can use on this bigger plate. So I bought some lace fabric, and this is the first one. I think it would have worked out a lot better if I had had a single color instead of two different colors on my plate. There's just too much contrast here. This second one with the flowers on, I thought it turned out really well, and yeah. And then it was funny, I was watching another gal, I can't remember her name, but she was playing on her gel plate, and then she brings out the same fabric, and anyways, I got a big kick out of that. I also picked up some needlepoint canvas because, again, I wanted that bigger size for the bigger plate. And then I'll use some of my butterfly mask with the canvas over the top, and I really like the nice little delicate texture it gives. Not sure why I didn't show the first pull, but I didn't, so I'm sorry about that. So now I'm going to go in and take my masks off, and then I will show you my next pull. I try mixing up a little bit of the navy onto a plate and applying it with a brush to see what that does. And then I'm going to use the alcohol with the paint and see what kind of effect I get. Ooh, I like that. I'm experimenting with a round paint brush and adding in a little bit of red here and there. Not real exciting because of what I already had on the plate, but I definitely will try this in the future. And then adding a few little colors. I think that the areas that I had the red were kind of cool. I'd really like to figure out how to use my stencils on this larger plate. I love the effect that I'm getting with this little circle stencil, but I don't like the edge in the middle of the plate. So I think what I'm going to do down the road is I'll cut this stencil again, and then I will cut off the edges and any other stencils that I want to use. And cut off those edges so I don't have those marks. A couple of prime envelopes and some duct tape. These are some old, I think they were cupcake toppers or something I bought at a discount store years ago. I have looked for these over and over again since then. Cannot find them anywhere. Not online, so I don't know if they don't make them anymore or not. But I just love this particular design. This print will turn out to be my favorite of the bunch, and I will use it on today's project. Here's one of the only colorful ones that I did. And I'm putting out some regular paint, and then I'm going to hit it with some water and then some alcohol. Definitely interesting. I took my favorite of the bunch, put it on my 24-inch long cutting mat for my scan and cut, and then cut it out on my machine to make a nice clean cut. My plan is to use the lighter blue-green one for my background, and then the darker one for my edges. And now we're ready to start putting it on. I've got my matte medium, and my head is going to be in the way. I should have moved over to my taller table and stood up so that I wouldn't have my head in front of the camera. I'm so sorry about that. But it's pretty straightforward here anyway. It goes down nicely and quickly until I get to my botanical. I started having some problems here, as you will see, if I can get my head out of the way, because it started curling on me in places and because I have it all hooked together. So what I learned from doing this with the newsprint is in the future, I will try to make my design so that it's in more than one piece, so I can do smaller pieces, and even if I have to piece them together, it would have been so much easier. It still worked. I still made it work, but it was not pretty or fun. But it worked. I had some tears, as you can see, and I had to do some creative fixing, but I think it turned out nice. I let my canvas dry overnight and decided I want to put some flowers on it. So I picked out some gel prints I thought might look cool. And now I'm trying to decide which of these papers I want to use. And so I'm just going to cut a few out really quick. For me, I need the visual. I need to put it on there and see how the colors look, how the shapes look. Are they the right size? I just took one of my flower stencils, enlarged them a little bit, and then cut them out on a piece of cardstock to use as a guide. And then I'm just going to cut them out with a pair of scissors. I'm not trying to be exact. I'm not trying to be perfect about it at all. Just quickly cutting them out. I thought about adding in some more yellow and doing different flowers again, but I keep going back to this one set of pink with the blue there that I like the best, but I also like the little bit of lighter yellow with the pink. Those top 4 flowers, so that's what I'm going to wind up going with ultimately. Before I put my flowers on, I thought it might be fun to put a few circles around the canvas here and there. I go around the edge with a dauber and some different of my colors, and then I'm going to get and then I'll grab some alligator clips and some different stencils and go around and put some different size circles on. I'm trying to put a mix of color here as well. I don't want just a solid blue or a solid pink. So try to mix it up a little bit. At first I thought I was going to paint my stems on, but after more thought I decided I wanted to see if I had some papers that would work, and I did. So I try a couple of them out to see what I think I'd like best, and then I wind up going with that kind of green with the orange circles there. Now I get out a liner brush and start lining around my edges, and just about as soon as I started I get a couple of them done and I don't like it. So I'm going to wipe some away. Some of it's dried and I can't get it off, so I kind of just do the best I can. And instead I'll grab my General Scribe ball and go around my edges with that. And then also do the detail inside the flowers as well. Well, something happened in my camera. I looked up and my camera had shut off. So I just went in with I brought my stencil back in and made those marks on the inside of the flowers. And then I drew those in with my scribe ball. And I'm going around all the little circles, as you can see. And I just took that small brush there and went in and touched up all my centers. My blue circles are bothering me just a little bit, and I feel like I just need to change the color on those just a little bit, or add a little bit more turquoise to that. So that's what I'm doing here. I like that so much better. Well, that's my project for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you join me in my next one. Bye for now.